What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Unhinged breakdown. I could not resist making this video when going over the different pieces of the Major League Baseball season, who I wanted to talk about. Every time I turned on the highlights, I saw this guy just smashing the baseball. I'm sure you can see already who I'm talking about. This guy is the best hitter in Major League Baseball so far this season in 2023. And his name is Matt Chapman, third baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays. He is off to an absolutely torrid start to the 2023 season. This guy can't stop barreling baseballs. He can't stop. And I went through some of his footage and started to realize, honestly, what appears to be, at least, his very simplistic approach to conducting his at-bats, how he chooses to swing at certain pitches in certain locations, and made a good comparison to another hitter that a lot of people would probably consider to be a much better hitter, or at least before the season would say, yeah, this other guy is definitely better than Matt Chapman as far as hitting goes. And we'll get into that here shortly, but just wanted to go through some of the swings that Matt Chapman just pulled a couple of videos of Matt Chapman just tearing the cover off the baseball. Okay, so here's Chapman against Jose Urquidy, and this is a video from the series the Blue Jays played with the Astros a couple weeks ago. Okay, 2-2 count. Chapman gets a fastball away at 95, shoots it to right field over the wall for a home run. All right, now notice it's a fastball. It's outer third, and he shoots it to right. Great swing, stays connected right here, really lets his hands work, keeps his back hip behind the baseball. Lets his barrel come through the zone, flat, level, and his barrel, by the way, is in the hitting zone for a long time. A long time. I mean, that is as picturesque as it gets at the point of contact. Works his barrel not only to the ball, but through the ball. Great swing, takes it the other way. That ball's going to leave the yard. Same series against the Astros. Christian Javier on the mound. Fastball away. What does he do with it? Absolutely nothing more than letting it travel, seeing it deep, keeping his back hip through the baseball, head down, on contact. Bat is coming not to, but through contact, and he hits that ball really hard the other way to right field. Same exact swing right here, man. Lets his hands work, hips, shoulders, hands, barrel, through the point of contact, works behind it, hits it well, and out of the ballpark. Here's another pitch from Brady Singer, a guy who's got a nice sort of sinking fastball, two-seam, whatever you want to call it. Either way, that thing will start off the plate and it'll come back. And when it does that, a lot of guys have a tendency to work around it because the pitch has that motion to it where it starts out and comes in. Guys work on top of it, chop it in the ground. What does Chapman do right here on a 1-2 count? Backdoor two-seam or sinker. He works to it, through it, head down, back hip through the baseball, through the point of contact. Contact is there, works his barrel through the baseball, shoots it the other way. Pretty tough look there from the Royals right fielder coming in on a ball and getting beat over his head. And we won't spend a lot of time talking about it, but what we will spend a lot of time talking about is the transition to this next at-bat against elite level reliever in Brian Abreu for the Astros. Yeah, the Blue Jays are winning, so it's not necessarily like a do or die scenario, but it is a high leverage at bat, 3-2 count. Abreu is a guy with high velo, great breaking ball in his slider. He wants to work down and away with it, as you can see by the setup of Maldonado. What ends up happening is Abreu actually works behind this ball and kind of lets it fade in. But forget about where he wanted to throw it. Just look at where it ended up. And in this case, Chapman gets a slider in off the plate. I mean, theoretically, this ball starts, inside the right-handed batter's box. Breaks in, and it's off the plate at 86. But it's inside, and it's off speed. Chapman works inside the baseball, keeps his hands connected, and hits an absolute rocket off the wall to left field. That's an RBI double. Here's another at bat. 3-1 count. Bottom of the first. His team's down 3-0. 3-1 count. 2 guys on. Guys hitting cleanup. Guys seeing the ball really well in Matt Chapman. Off a guy like Marco Gonzalez, a lefty who's not going to really blow you away in a fastball count. 3-1 count. Very easily, Matt Chapman could sit here and just sit heater all day long. What does he get? What does Marco Gonzalez throw him? A changeup, and he ropes it down the left field line. Ropes it. Okay? You can see the changeup spin there. Here's Chapman again, man. Letting the barrel work. Back hip is now through, and he catches it, yeah, a little bit out in front, but it's an off-speed pitch. You let the off-speed pitch, if it's in the zone, you catch it out front, and you pull the ball, and the fastballs, you hit the other way. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. What did he do against Brian Abreu when he got the slider? That inside slider from Brian Abreu with a couple of guys or nobody on base, down 4. He gets an inside pitch. It's off speed. He catches it out in front, ropes it to left field. Marco Gonzalez, bases loaded, or first and second, first inning, off speed, catches it out in front, ropes it. Stays connected, not too jumpy, not trying to get on top of it. Look at this swing right here. Perfect little toe. Chapman's kind of he's a toe tap guy. Toe tap, gets extended, hands are back. I mean, that right there is just so good. Hands come through, stays connected, catches it out in front, shoots it down the left field line. That's an RBI double. 1-0 count. Jordan Montgomery, his team is down 4. He gets a changeup on a 1-0 count, a fastball count. Jordan Montgomery pitches him backwards, throws a changeup. Yeah, it's outer third, but Chapman catches it out front, keeps his hands back enough, and ropes it in the gap. Take a look again. Same swing, guys. Keeps his hip knob to the baseball, and just because it's an off speed, it's the only reason, instead of hitting it there with what a fastball would probably be as far as point of contact goes, and where his home runs were, right? Because he's shooting them to right field. This is an off speed pitch. Just a frame earlier because it's a changeup. And he's on time. He smokes it, and it's in the gap. And we wrap it up with, again, back to the fastballs. A guy like Luis Castillo on the mound for the Mariners. 1-0 count. It's a fastball count. Chapman sees fastball as soon as Castillo lets this ball rip. And not only does he see fastball, but it's inner third at 97, and Chapman hits a rocket to right center. Let's take a look at that pitch again. 1-0, he gets a fastball down and in. And Chapman doesn't swing out of his ass, doesn't yank it to left field, doesn't foul it off his shin. What does he do? He sees it, works through it, lets the velocity of the pitch connect to his barrel, and he lets the velo do the work. 97? He doesn't have to swing that hard with the wood bat, and he didn't swing that hard. Look at that finish. Look at that follow through. He's not taking a hack and uncorking, spinning in the ground. It's a nice, easy hack. The point is, on a guy like Chapman, that's at least very apparent to me, is that he appears to be absolutely dialed in on his approach of letting fastballs travel, letting the velocity work, thinking right center, not swinging too hard, not trying to do too much. And if it ends up being an off-speed pitch and he's able to recognize it early enough, just take the same swing, but catch it out in front. And the barrel's going to be working through the zone at a pretty high rate of speed. You'll catch it out front, and you'll still hit it pretty darn hard. Same thing here. Chapman gets a little toe tap down, gets his hands back, just locked and loaded and cocked. But it's not a swing that's going to corkscrew you into the ground. Nice, easy. Yeah, he's got to swing fast to get his bat to the spot. Once he gets through it, man, it's a nice, easy, just effortless type of swing for Matt Chapman, and that ball is a rocket to right center. All right, now the comparison I was going to make, and this isn't a dig on Juan Soto because I love Juan. I am, as you can see, a Padres fan. And he seems, knock on wood, to be starting to break out of the slump and the bad habits that he was living by in the early parts of the season. But this was just last night. Soto's facing Luke Weaver. Okay. Low 90s fastball with a change. You know, he's an average starting pitcher in the major leagues. Soto against Weaver is up in a hitter's count 1-0, gets a changeup at 84 miles an hour right down Broadway. I mean, that ball could not be more center cut with a changeup. And the differences that I notice, at least breaking down Soto's swing from a slow motion perspective, frame by frame, as best we can. There's the changeup, and first thing I notice, Soto front hip, it's leaking pretty bad. But that's okay. Sometimes you can get away with that. Sometimes this guy swings. Then I just seem to notice that it's a very rotational. He's working on sort of an axis going up and down his body. And he's spinning. His front shoulder on contact is so much further out, as well as his front hip, than Chapman. On top of that, he's swinging so hard. I mean, he is swinging so hard. Go back and watch it again full speed. I mean, he uncorks his body. He's able to slow it down. But look at that finish there. Off balance, out in front knee bent, and he uncorks and pops up a changeup that was right down the middle. Here's an at-bat 2 series ago for the Padres in Chicago. He's facing Keegan Thompson, gets a fastball in a 1-0 count, man. It's a favorable hitter's count. And he gets a fastball, and his front hip and his front shoulder are absolutely gone. He's trying to jump this pitch. He was sitting on this pitch. He was ready for this pitch. But when you try to jump it and swing out of your shoes, you work underneath it. And again, man, look at that swing. Boom. Look at the follow through. I mean, he's through the ball, uncoils his whole body. His bat is behind him. What'd you see with Chapman? 2-hand finish, smooth, through the baseball, letting the velocity do the work. The old Juan Soto, as most people probably remember and recognize, would have taken this pitch, and instead of flying open, he would have made, here's a great way to put it. That's point of contact right there for Juan Soto. But 2 years ago, Juan Soto, he would have hit this exact pitch right there. Instead of there, I know it's not a big difference. There. Not there. There. And where it is, that's contact going straight up in the air. If he squares it up, he's probably pulling that ball to right center or right field. Contact right there is left center. And that's the difference. A lot of people don't realize that. That right there to there. Left center, right center. Left center, right center. Oppo with power, working behind it, hitting the ball, driving it the other way, flying open. And I know that obviously, like body stuff-wise, that's not that much of a difference. But in the game of baseball, when you're dealing with a baseball that's not big, a round ball, a round bat, that is the difference. And he flies open, uncoils, and pops it up. This is from a breakdown from Harold Reynolds on MLB Network, and we've muted the audio here. But this is a couple of really solid, I think, side-by-side angles of Soto and what I'm talking about, right? Here's him this year with the Padres. Front shoulder, front hip. I mean, everything is gone. It's gone. And then he's just trying to power and muscle through it with his hands. And he uncorks on the swings. I mean, look at his finish. I mean, he's almost doing the splits. Bat comes back behind him, and he is unleashing all kinds of swings. Now, this is the exact thing that I'm talking about. This is a home run he hit off Garrett Cole in the World Series back in 2019. This is a fastball up and away. He's connected. Front hip is so much more engaged. So much more engaged. His front shoulder is so much more engaged. He throws the knob and then lets it work. What did I just talk about? What did I just say? Where the difference from, you know, here, that's the left center drive to that one frame, that right there, that frame on that pitch to the Chicago Cubs when it was 1-0 fastball that he popped up, that's where he made contact against the Cubs. That is where he made contact against Garrett Cole in the World Series. That ball goes over the wall, and he drives it the other way. Another thing to notice with that swing, and yeah, it's played back in slow motion, is Soto uncorking right here? Is he spinning like a top and jamming his bat into the ground? No, it's a swing that's under control. He's working through the baseball so much so, in fact, that when he takes this swing, he's able to pull his back hip through and bring his back foot around to start running the bases because he's so connected. Another swing, another look from 2018 or 19, before he was with the Padres and taking much better, more connected swings. Here's a ball coming in here, front hips connected, front shoulders connected, head is down on the baseball. And maybe this is an off-speed pitch, maybe it's a changeup. I don't know. But this ball goes the other way. He throws his hands. It looks like probably a fastball. Lets his hands do the work. Two-hand finish. Comes through nice and smooth. He's not uncorking. He's not letting the ball rip. And this was some footage, I think, from back in April 18th, I guess. Soto getting some work done, and I think he recognizes this, okay? And he's, I guess, shooting the ball to left field, even though he's closed. I think it's more of a visual thing where he just wants to see the ball go to left center. Then he gets some front toss here, and he's deliberately working the other way. Now, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. But at the end of the day, you have to go back to a guy like Chapman and look at these swings that he's taking. A fastball away, he's not trying to do too much, and he lets his front hip connected, front shoulder connected, and that's not a big swing. It's not a big swing. Right there, boom, two-hand finish right above the head. Another fastball from Christian Javier, high and away, not even like 97, 98. What is this, 93? 93, up and away. And Chapman, controlled, easy stride, starts his hands, back hip is engaged, front shoulder's still in there, and he makes point of contact right over the plate. Two-hand finish, under control, and taking his best swing, giving himself the best opportunity to produce and hit a line drive and find a barrel. Now, a couple more things that I want to draw your attention to that I think are important, okay? We saw Matt Chapman, his approach with the fastball, taking it the other way, letting the velocity do the work, not trying to swing too hard, taking what the pitcher gives you, and maintaining the same swing, right? Fastball, letting it travel, off-speed pitch, catching it out in front. For those of you watching, for those of you that are hitters or baseball fans, or people who don't maybe know quite as much about the intricacies of hitting, that right there would be the first thing almost all Hall of Fame caliber or level or big league hitters would tell you. Take the same swing every time. Yeah, of course, pitchers are going to change location up, down, in, out. But as far as velo, take the same swing, adjust probably shoulder plane and hand level the same. But otherwise, the guys that are going their best, the guys that are on fire, the guys that are playing their best will tell you they're driving the ball to the opposite field. That's when they know they're going good. Here's a look at Juan Soto's 2019 Baseball Savant page and his percentile rankings based on these different categories. And if they're in the red, that means you're doing a pretty good job. He was in the 90th percentile in hard hit percentage, 94th percentile in average exit velo, 87th percentile in barrel percentage. And we go down here to his 2019 spray chart. Look at these pink dots. Pink dots are home runs. He's hitting balls down the left field line, straight away left center. And then, yeah, I'm sure when he's sitting on a fastball and catches it out front or a breaking ball, he pulls it to right field, hits it over the wall. Look at his singles. Look at the orange dots. there's probably more on the left side of the field than there is on the right side. Flashing over to Matt Chapman this season, 2013. Let's take a look at his percentile rankings. Oh, how about 99th percentile in average exit velo? How about 100th percentile in barrel percentage? How about 100th percentile in hard hit percentage? Bottom line, Matt Chapman is smashing the baseball this year. But we just saw him take a couple of two-handed, what looked to be like 80% sort of swings. And that's all it takes, guys. When you're in the big leagues and you're facing even 93, 95, right? Or in the case of that at bat against Luis Castillo, 97 down and in. Let your hands work. Put the barrel on the baseball. Work through it. Keep your back hip connected. And you're going to be exactly where Matt Chapman's finding himself in the early parts of 2023. Not to mention, guys, okay, he's got just as many doubles, which are the purple dots, to the right center field gap that he does to left field. We saw him pull a couple balls to left field, right? We saw the Marco Gonzalez changeup. This was a double down the line. Jordan Montgomery, changeup, double in the left center field gap. And then Luis Castillo busts him in with 97. He shoots it to right center. How about the home runs? Only five for Matt Chapman. I mean, and I don't want to say only, like that's a good number. There are some guys in the big leagues that have more than him right now. Muncie's got 11, whatever. There's guys with more. But those guys don't have as high barrel percentage. And look at the home runs for Matt Chapman this year, okay? One to left field, 4 to right center. Now, we'll do a flash comparison because this is when a guy's going well. This is what his spray chart looks like, especially in the home runs and doubles category. When a guy's going well, this is what the home runs and doubles spray chart looks like when a guy's going well. Fast forward, 2023 for Juan Soto. Glaringly different. One home run to left center, and this was in Mexico City. The rest of his one home run to left center and one single. The rest of his hits are to the right of second base. Front shoulder's flying. Front hip is disconnected. He's trying to hammer everything. He's swinging out of his ass on almost everything. There's some videos that I had available too, where it's like he's getting outside, breaking balls from right-handed pitchers on the outer half, and he just pulls them on the ground. And yeah, the shift is going to help, right? Some of these are going to be hits. There's a hit right there. There's a hit. Like some of these probably wouldn't have been hits without the shift. Okay, that's fine. But this is Juan Soto when he's not going well. And this is Juan Soto when he's going well. This is Matt Chapman when he's going well. And I'm not like, Chapman's had some good years. He hasn't been like abysmal. But last year, I think he struggled a little bit. And even so, at no point in his career has he had as good a month barrel-wise as he did in the April of 2023. So let's looking at 2022. And this is probably pretty prototypical for a lot of hitters because guys pull the ball. And that's okay. But I guarantee you, April of 2022, just in general, he has... if you want to go, this yellow triple dot as the reference point, let's say right center, all of his home runs last year were to the left of center. This year, 80% of his home runs have been to the right of center. It's not a coincidence, guys. It's not a coincidence. And you can go back again, 2022, and you can look at his percentile rankings in 2022. Not quite the same. He hit the ball pretty hard, but he struck out a lot. Expected batting average wasn't great. Must have been probably maybe some balls on the ground, right? Let's go through his years here. 2021. Yikes. Not a great year. Let's look at his spray chart, right? Well, first let's look deeper into the 2021 percentile rankings. Strikeout rate, pretty high. Hard hit percentage, about 54th percentile. Has the ability to hit the ball hard with his max exit velocity up in 89th percentile. Expected batting average, not great. He barrels the ball, at a good clip at 86th percentile. And then this is 2021, and let's look at his spray chart in 2021. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys. I don't know. All his doubles are to the left side, -3. All his home runs are center left, -3. This year, it's so balanced. It's so balanced. And it's so good. And I think ultimately, guys, what you have to understand, and my main point is, pay attention to the guys that are going well and what they're doing right. And I promise you, more often than not, those guys are going to be hitting fastballs with authority, the opposite field or right center. They're going to be taking other mistake pitches, breaking balls over the plate, change-ups over the plate. They're going to be pulling them hard for base hits. And what you won't see from guys that are having incredible amounts of success, what you won't see are max effort, spin in the ground type of swings. You just won't see that. I mean, think about the best hitters in the game. And some guys can get away with it. Some guys are absolute freaks, and I get it. Ohtani in some cases has the big swing where he spins around, right? But that's just, he's out in front on a breaking ball, whatever the case is. Mike Trout never takes those types of swings. Aaron Judge never takes those types of swings. The type of swings where you spin in the ground. Right? So ultimately, you guys have to pay attention and recognize and realize more often than not, if a guy's going bad, he's trying to pull everything. And the problem is, and the last thing I'll say here is that in a lot of cases when guys are going bad, it's like you want to pull it even harder. You want to go harder and harder, and you just want to pull a home run and hammer a ball. And that happens. That totally happens, and I understand. And the other thing is that baseball is impossible. I mean, hitting a baseball is impossible. I totally understand. At no point can I ever do anything even near the level of Juan Soto or Matt Chapman. But I do recognize what one guy's doing well and how he's doing it versus what one guy's not doing well and how that's happening as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this unhinged breakdown of Matt Chapman, who I think right now has the potential to win an MVP based on just his advanced metrics and how often he's smashing the ball, barreling it up, man, hitting doubles, hitting home runs. I'm really excited and happy for a guy like Matt Chapman because he's always had it on the defensive side of the ball. But on the offensive side, I mean, you saw some of his advanced analytics and his spray chart type stuff, even as recently as 2 years ago. Kind of had a tough year, and it's like, well, okay, the guy will always have the glove. He might not be the same, caliber hitter as some of those other great defensive third basemen, Machado, Arenado, etc. He's right there. In fact, this year, he is leaps and bounds better than those two guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to slap the like button if you guys are sticking around all the way to the end. Subscribe to the channel if you guys enjoy this type of content, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.